Jimmy deserves a ton of credit for what he did this year. I think people talk a little bit about how he was coming off an ACL, but I also think that people don't realize that was his first year playing quarterback in this league. I think he got 3 games with New England and he got 5 games with us. This is his first time going through a full season. He had less games than Baker Mayfield going into his second year. And to do that with the pressure of also, to me, everyone thinking you've already arrived and coming off an ACL, I thought there was as much pressure on him at the beginning of the year as anyone I've been around. And he just took it, handled it all year, and got better throughout the year, and was very impressed with him.
That's Kyle Shanahan, 49ers coach at the Scouting Combine, talking about his quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. The show is PFT Live, NBCSN. Hello to our good friends in the UK and in Ireland watching the show on Sky Sports. All right, Peter, this is your fault. The fact that we're talking about Tom Brady possibly going to the 49ers, your fault. I tried to light that fuse right after the Super Bowl. It didn't go anywhere. Last week, I thought that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch put it to bed. And then you had to write in your column on Monday that Deion Sanders is talking about the 49ers possibly pursuing Tom Brady. So I dusted off. Tom Curran's in on the act now. The Boston Herald is saying that the 49ers are a legitimate contender. I blame you, but I love every minute of it because I think he should go to the 49ers. Peter, what do you have to say about it?
I think he shouldn't go to the 49ers. Now, it'd make a wonderful story. It really would. And it could be that Kyle Shanahan deep down thinks, I'll worry about 2022 and 2022. But give me Brady for the next 32 games, and I'll take my chances. We're going to win a Super Bowl. Now, who knows? Maybe he's thinking that. I don't know. I tried to talk to Kyle Shanahan after the season. He preferred not to. I was certainly going to ask him a lot about Garoppolo. I doubt I was going to ask him, so are you going to go after Brady? Because it just seems totally preposterous that the guy who you went and traded for, manna from heaven, dropped down, and you got Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick, and now you would think about trading him after, by the way, 50 minutes into the Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo is 17 out of 20. The last 10 minutes, he's 2 for 10. He gets 2 or 3 passes batted down. He doesn't play well. But really, are we seriously going to say, let's get rid of Garoppolo for a guy who's won 6 Super Bowls and who's the most remarkable quarterback in NFL history? But are we really going to say that we should dump the Garoppolo experiment? We've already paid him. Are we going to dump that and go for the next year, maybe, or 2, and just go for it all and then worry about 2022 in 2022?
Stop your damn...
Mike, I know you like that.
Stop your damn head
Mike,
shaking.
you like mayhem.
I love it. For a guy that doesn't like the move, you're making the case for the move, Peter.
I'm not making a case for the move. I'm just saying I would not do that at all. I would not do it. I would keep Jimmy Garoppolo. In his first full year as a starter, he had a B to B plus year. Okay? And in my opinion, he's got the potential to be one of the best 10 quarterbacks in the league consistently, especially being coached by Kyle Shanahan, who is one of the 2 or 3 best offensive minds in football easily. So to me, I don't know why you would give up security at quarterback for the next 10 years for what you hope would be great for the next 2. I'm not saying they're not going to do it.
Right.
I doubt they'll do it, but I wouldn't do it.
It's risky to me. It makes me think that if the 49ers are thinking this, there might be some Super Bowl bitterness a little bit by the way Jimmy Garoppolo did play. Peter, I'm with you. I wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't. If my buddy Kyle Shanahan asked me, I'd say no. Negative Ghost Rider. Listen, could you make a case? Is it very close between Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady right now? Do I believe Tom Brady would have played better in the Super Bowl than Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay, yes, I do believe that. I'm not so sure Tom Brady could have done some of the things, though, to get them there that Jimmy Garoppolo made happen during the year. All right, that's the first
You mean all
thing.
those handoffs against the Packers?
Well, okay.
You mean those?
I mean all those 3rd and 16s and those clutch drives at the end of games and being the best fourth quarter team in football. That's what I mean, okay? Snarky comment. Now let me finish this. All right? And then the other thing to what Peter is talking about, okay, is there's 2 things that would scare me if I'm the 49ers and even scare me if I'm Tom Brady. First off, it's going to be the hardest. You heard me say this, Mike. It's going to be the hardest offseason ever in Tom Brady's history if he wants to go to the San Francisco 49ers. It'll be the toughest offseason he's had since his rookie year in the NFL. He is going to have to go live inside the San Francisco facility and learn a new system and a language when he's only known one language his whole 20 years of his NFL life. Added to the fact, this will be my last thing I'll say about it, is that, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Peter made the point, this is his first year as a full starter. He's only going to get better. I can promise you Tom Brady is not going to get better. It's going the other way. So you have to take that into account too. And yes, there's great risk by, getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, bringing a polarizing figure like Tom Brady into your locker room, having to deal with the fanfare, the media, all that. He wants things done this way. It could really upset the chemistry of your team, let alone we know how much Jimmy G is loved by his fellow teammates on the team. So I think it is very risky, and I'm with Peter on this one. I wouldn't do it. And out of the fact, I just want to see Tom Brady back in New England. I don't want to see him in another uniform. I'm sorry, 49er fans or anybody that wishes that, but that's just where I want to see him.
I recall the conversation we had after the NFC Championship game and the 49ers players were coming out and defending Jimmy G. Peter King hit the nail on the head by saying, what else are they going to say? They have to rally around their quarterback. They're not going to come out and say, oh, thank God he didn't have to throw the ball all day. And I think back to the game against the Vikings, and we were there, Chris.
Yes.
And you and I both came to the conclusion that Kyle Shanahan got freaked out by Jimmy G having 3 interceptions that could have been thrown. One was picked off by Eric Kendricks. 2 others could have been picked off by Kendricks. And it was after the third one that they went into the run the ball mode, and they stayed in that mode for all of the NFC Championship game. Now, look, we don't know what Kyle Shanahan really thinks about Jimmy Garoppolo. Is he smart enough? Is he adept enough? Can he make the big throw in the big moment? Peter, you mentioned he was a B or a B plus last year over the course of the full season. I don't disagree with that. But with the championship on the line in a pass-fail moment and Emmanuel Sanders, as Bruce Arians would say, wide-ass open going into the end zone, Garoppolo missed him. Tom Brady doesn't miss that throw. If I'm Kyle Shanahan, that's the thing that is haunting me now, and that's the thing that if Tom Brady wants to play for me, that's how this would get started, I think. Brady makes it known he wants to play for the 49ers. It makes it hard for me, Peter, to say no.
If we were going to judge a lot of people on one throw, how about the throw that Tom Brady underthrew to Gronk that was intercepted by Chase Blackburn in the Super Bowl? I mean, look, there's you.
Was the game on the line at that moment? What about the game wasn't on the line at that moment?
It was like the last series of the game. It was like the last or second to last series of the game. But be that as it may, we're talking about, everybody is talking about, having a 43-year-old quarterback go somewhere for a year or two versus and who knows, maybe it could be 4 years, but everything would argue against that other than the brain and the muscle structure of Tom Brady. But my only point about all this is you've got a gift from God in Jimmy Garoppolo, which you got incredibly cheap. He just had his first year as a starting player, and he played well. He put up 48 points at New Orleans. It's just, it would be one thing if we were talking about Mitchell Trubisky. We're not. We're talking about a guy who had a good year,
right,
who can probably get better and probably will get better, and who has 10 or 12 years left to play football. I just do not see the logic here at all.
Yeah, I think it's risky too. I do. And, again, how, with Tom Brady, but he hung in the pocket like Jimmy Garoppolo did when both offensive tackles got hurt for the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, Mike, I know Shanahan changed his game plan calling and things like that in that Vikings game, because he got scared. Listen, I think there's moments during the year that the New England Patriots changed the way they were calling the games too, because they were like, man, Tom's not going to stand in there and make this throw. Tom's not going to push the ball. He's going to be conservative here. So there's those issues too. Brady is not perfect. I mean, let's not forget his last game, he was 20 of 37. You know, it wasn't like we're sitting here going, oh man, he is still dicing them up. You know, and again, I'm not trying to disrespect Tom Brady. He's amazing that way. And for Tom Brady, you know, again, I think what this does to me more than anything, this rumor or this talking point, which seems very real, like we were talking yesterday, there's smoke, there's fire. Like with Brady, of course he wants to go to the 49ers. This confirms this is a legacy move he's looking for. And this confirms to me that it's like, okay, the 49ers are the Titans, or it's going back to the Patriots. He's only going to go somewhere where he can win a Super Bowl. The 49ers arguably are the best roster and most complete team in all of football. So I understand him wanting to go there. But I lie with Peter here. I think it's very risky to make that type of move with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, who, is not perfect, but it was the 8th rated quarterback in football. And I think trending upwards as compared to a guy where, he's a legend and, maybe the greatest of all time. I get that. But he's still 43 and he's going downwards. And that's just the simple facts of the matter.
I'm surprised that this issue has been on my radar screen for nearly a month, and I haven't pulled up out of curiosity the San Francisco 49ers opponents for 2020 until just now. They play the 4 teams of the NFC East and the 4 teams of the AFC East, including at New England, guys.
Wow.
I think I'm rooting for it a little bit harder
than
amazing. I was when the segment began.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, let's just assume that Brady makes it known he wants to play for the 49ers, and Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch realize we can't say no to this. We don't want to be like the Texans in 2012 who said, no thanks, Peyton, we'll stick with Matt Schaub. What do you do with Garoppolo if it comes to that, Peter?
I mean, I would, if they really did this, I'd try to trade him back to Belichick and see if we could make that work. The biggest problem with that is, and I think it is a big problem, is that, the New England Patriots basically do not, I think they would have to work on the contract in that case. Because the New England Patriots, I talked about it earlier in the show, and I've written about it 2 or 3 times now. In my opinion, the Patriots are going to sit out this dance of overpaid quarterbacks.
Right.
And they're going to wake up on May 1st and they're going to see, okay, who can we get to come in here for 1 year, $6 million? Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. Whoever is out there, there's going to be 3 or 4 guys who started in the NFL who are going to be out there who don't have a chair after the music is stopped for musical chairs. So that to me is much more of a Belichick way. Now, the thing that would be different in this case is that Bill Belichick loves Jimmy Garoppolo, loves him. And so if Bill Belichick loves Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe all bets are off. But I think it would be hard to make work financially in the cap situation the Patriots are in now.
Well, it's another fascinating development that we're going to be keeping an eye on over the next 2 weeks. And 2 weeks will fly by, and we should know by then, at least have a feel by then, where Brady is leaning toward going. We'll know whether or not he's going to go back to New England within the next 2 weeks. And does he end up in San Francisco? Given that the 49ers play at the Patriots this year, my goodness, that will be something.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.